Hi Delvers, welcome back to another lesson. In this lesson we'll be solving a couple of questions and just to have a bit of a practice on the things we have learned. I remember the last time we solved questions with the filter easy on, but this time we'll change that to medium because I believe for everything we've learned we can still solve most of the medium questions, and if there's anything that I feel like is a bit more complex, I will try to explain while solving, and ultimately when we get there in our lesson we'll continue. All right, so let's just check this question. It says just ignore this advert on the side. I've tried removing it consistently, but it just wouldn't stop. All right, it says select unique bet years from patients and order them by ascending. So that's select unique. It says so we can use select distinct. So it says select distinct, and we're looking for the bet years. I'm just going to click on the database bet year, which would be that. I'm just going to copy that in, right click, and then it says order it, right? So I say order by, so select the bet year from, then order in ascending. So I'm just going to copy that, order in ascending. I don't have to put ascending there because by default he orders it in ascending, but I just love to put it. So okay, so that's wrong. All right, it says select unique bet years, so it's referring to just the year, not the whole bet day. So I think that should work now. It says the year all in ascending. Let's just run down. Yeah, and that's correct. So we'll go on to the next question. It says select show unique first names from the patient table which occurs once in the list. So it's also distinct, and we're looking for distinct first names. Just going to copy that, distinct first names. I'm just going to put that there. It says from patient, it says which only occurs once in the list. It says, for example, if there are two or more people and they're named John in the first name column, then don't include their name in the output. If only one person is named Leo, then include the person. So basically, we want to ensure that the count of that first name is show unique first name from which only occurs once in this. We want to ensure that the count of that first name is 1. So we can say where, or having actually, because I know we can't aggregate on that. So I'm just going to group by first. I'll group by the first name, but then I'll filter using the having the count of the first names equals 1. I run that, and that's correct, and I hope that makes sense. You can't use the where because it's an aggregate function. Like you have performed an aggregate function, so you have to group first, then having should work. If I use where there, I believe it to say it should come up with an error. If I run that, I say near where syntax error, because that's not possible. But we can use having definitely, and that should work. I know that already worked, don't mind that. So next question, it says you got a query. Next question, it says show the patient ID, the first name from the patient, where the first name starts and ends with S, and is at least 6 characters long. So we're still using the patient database, but this time they want the patient ID. They want the patient ID and the first name. Patient ID and first name, where the patient from patient says where their first name starts with. So where says where their first name starts with and ends with S and is at least 6 characters long. So you see where first name like, it says it must start with an S, right? And is at least 6 characters long. Starts and end with. So I can do that. But that can go longer than 6. So I won't use this. I'll use this one. I'm just gonna 3 and 4 at least. So that's, it says where the first name starts and ends with S and is at least 6 characters long. At least 6. So that means the least we can have is 6 characters. So I'll do that. Then I can say, I can then add this on, and I believe that should work. So what I've done there is I've added about 4 of that, I believe, and then this is 0 or as many as possible. Now, so let me run that. Let's see if that works. Yeah, that works. That's fine. Next question. It says, show the patient ID, the first name, the last name from the patient whose diagnosis is dementia. Now, and already give us an hint there to say that the diagnosis is stored in the admission table. So for these now, that means we'll have to join 2 tables together to get what we need. But what do we need? We need the first patient ID, first name, and last name, right? We need all of that. It says from patient whose diagnosis, we don't have that because diagnosis is found under the admission. So we have to combine 2 tables here. I can do that by using joins. So say join and join admissions, which is the name of the table. Now on, how do we join this? Obviously from the schema, we can see how it links. Now it links using the patient ID. So we can combine that way. We can say join that using the patients, that is the name of the table, full stop, the name of the table, full stop, the name of the colon, and is equal to the name of the table again, full stop, and the name of the colon. So if we put that there, that should work. But it says, so we've joined both tables together. So now we can filter. We can say where the diagnosis is equal to dementia. Just put that because it's the string. Let's go to dementia, and I believe that should work. But now this patient ID might be a bit ambiguous now because we have patient IDs in 2 different tables. So just to make it a bit more precise, I would say I would copy that patient there so that I'm a bit more clear with what I need. So I need that. So now obviously I'm more clear now to say, okay, the patient ID I need should be found in the patient table. Let me run that, and that's correct. Next question. It says, display every patient's first name, order the list by the length of each name, and then alphabetically. So they want me to order by the length and also order by, basically in ascending. Okay, so that's fine. So we just need the patient's first name, right? We don't need any other thing. So patient, I'm just going to take that out from the patient. Now we don't need this table anymore. So I'll take that out. So it says where. So we don't need the where also. We just need the order by. So I'm just going to order by the length of this, and that's just going to copy that quickly. Order by len, and we're also ordering by the patient's name ascending. I think that should work. Let's run that. No, that's wrong. So let's pay more attention to this. It says display every patient's first name. It says order the list by the length of each name, order the list by the length of each name and then alphabetically. All right, just give me a sec. I'll remove that for a start. Let's see if he orders by the length of the name first. All right, so he orders by the length of the names. All right, so I'm just going to put a comma there then instead of the and say I want to order, because I think it's the and that's causing a problem there. I want to order in ascending. Let me run that. All right, so let's look at this question again. It says, so next, show the total amount of male patients and the total amount of female patients in the patient table. It says display the two results in the same row. So I know we can use case just to build an argument rather. Because use case I can say when the gender is equals to male, I can say then one. Then I can copy that to say when the gender, or I can just say end. So that's one. So that's a case statement. Then I can count this. Because now basically stylishly I've converted the male gender to a number. So what I've done here is I've stylishly converted the male gender, the male, to a number. If I run that, so it says that's the male gender, right? So if I do this again, now I can also count the female gender. That way. I can change that to an F, and that, I believe that would work. But I don't just want it to just appear this way, so I can just change the name. I can call that male, and I can call this female. So let's run that quickly. Yeah, and that's correct. So male and female. Next question. It says, show the first name, the last name, the allergies from patients which have allergies to either who are allergic, I think that should be the right word, to either penicillin or morphine. Shows the result in ascending by allergies, then first name, then by last name. Okay, so allergies, they want the first name and last name, and also want the allergies. So I know, let's check where the allergies is found. Not there. Allergies is found also in the same patient table. So it's also going to be from the patient because allergies is also found in the same table. So I can say we're looking for the first name, we're looking for the last name, we're looking for the allergies. That's the three things we're looking for. It has to be where, right? It says where the allergy, so where allergy is either penicillin or morphine. I can just do allergies in, I can open a bracket, and I want that to be penicillin. I'm just going to copy that, and place a comma. Now you can write two or statements, but I know that I can combine the or using the in. So I'm not, just to shorten how long I write. So that's that. And it says an order, show result ordered ascending by allergies, then first name, then last name. So everything should be ascending. So I can just put the order by, then I'm going to order by allergies first. Then I order by the last name, now first name, then I order by the last name. So I think that's everything. Let's run that. Yeah, and that's correct.